healthy of you to not drink coffee.
I don't. I don't know. I'm not like a hot drink person. I like cold
That's
drinks.
crazy. One of my favorite things about coffee is I can guarantee I'm gonna poop within the next 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you drink coffee. I'm regular because of it.
I
You
could do
drink a
like a
hot coffee,
pumpkin spice latte from Wawa, like in the fall.
first off, you're not getting Wawa. First off, Wawa sucks.
That's just not. It's a bold statement.
Dude, I was in Baltimore coaching Anthony's fight. All right. And they don't have sheets, right? So we went to a Wawa. All right. Now, I'm going to preface this with not all Wawas are probably created
I
equal.
was gonna
Not all
say.
sheets are created
So I
equal.
lived in Philly, so just like that disclaimer, like you're talking about like a
Okay.
fringe
Well,
Wawa.
I was scared for my safety.
Where were you? Baltimore?
Yes.
Okay, well that's
I was scared. The rest of Baltimore is great. And I would speak very, very kindly about Baltimore as a city. But when I was in this Wawa, now I was a little high, all right? Just a little bit. Not too much, but enough to where I looked around my surroundings. I was with another dude and Anthony, who this other guy didn't fight. And he could see how uncomfortable I was, which made him really scared because he was like, Lucas is uncomfortable here. We're in a bad situation. And I had to wait there like 20 minutes for this food that was terrible. All right. And then they did have a fire milkshake, right? But it compared to Sheets, Wawa sucks.
their breakfast sandwiches are not even in the same category. They are so much better.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Damn, you might have got me on that. That's my favorite food.
so much better.
Breakfast sandwiches might be my favorite
They
food.
have a they
Damn.
have a turkey sausage, egg and cheese bagel. It's the teal box for anybody that goes to Wawa. I mean, you'd know the teal box. And I would roll in there. I'd get a when I worked at the King of Prussia Mall.
I've been there.
Yeah, I managed the Buckle. I was a store manager of Buckle,
Wow.
and I would stop at Wawa and I would get two of the turkey sausage, egg and cheese bagel sandwiches, a Robert Irving uh, protein bar, preferably peanut butter and jelly, and I would get a sugar-free Rockstar. Usually two, definitely two.
So you don't drink coffee. You're
Don't
an
drink
energy
coffee.
drink guy.
Energy drinks, and I gave them up for a
First,
while.
first off, you're working at Buckle and you got a construction diet. That's crazy. And
Construction diet.
yeah,
Dude, I was shredded when I worked at Buckle too.
how old are you? 25, 20?
Yeah, I was in my 20s.
Yeah, I mean, you could eat fucking anything at that point.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I would go to the food court and I would go to this like China, what was it called? It was like I had good teriyaki chicken with white rice, double chicken, extra sauce, extra yummy is what they would always say. I would go there every day and then get
there's
fried
no way
veggies.
I could order anything and say, "Can you make it extra yummy?" I don't think I have that in me. I struggle ordering my maple latte already. I don't think I could ask for anything extra yummy.
Yeah, we were just saying, talking about the worst
I
part of a Starbucks coffee is the name.
yeah, I don't I can't believe you don't drink coffee. That's insane.
Yeah.
Um, but everybody's got their preferences. Why do you not drink coffee? You don't like the taste.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's an acquired taste. I just never got into it. I don't have like a specific reason. Um, I've tried it a few times. It tastes like watered down dirt to me.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like I don't know. I'd
Dude,
rather
I'll drink like dark coffee with like, a couple espresso shots.
Mhm.
I either go red eye or I go maple latte. And I want my maple latte sweet and I want my red
I
eye
love the
tart.
smell of coffee. Like I grew up, both of my parents drank coffee. My dad owned his own business. He had a glass shop, auto parts and glass. And so he was on the road changing windshields. He had like a big, like when Stanley was Stanley, before
Hmm.
Stanley was like some female Instagram influencer shit. Like my
Yeah.
dad had like a Stanley thermos and he'd fill that thing up with Folgers, like shit coffee, not none of this freaking Black Rifle, I had a coffee company. I my dad loved it, but I mean it was Folgers in the house, and I'd
Oh
wake up
yeah,
in the
we had that.
morning and my dad would drink it black. My mom would pour half a pound of sugar in hers and probably a big old thing of cream.
Yep.
I mean, I used to make it all the time for them. I love the smell, just not a fan of the taste. Give me a C4 or a Ghost now.
Well, you're wrong, but that's okay. That's all right. The rest of the world will disagree with you.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
And yes, energy drinks and gas station food is definitely construction
I need to
diet.
get you a Rumble Time, RIP Rumble. I need to get you a Rumble Time coffee t-shirt. I think I still have some.
Dude, I'll wear the hell out of that. I used to like Rumble a lot. It's pretty dope. Him and when him and John were fighting.
Did I ever tell you how I met him?
No.
I hit him up on Instagram. My brother and I, all three of my brothers and I, owned an events company called Lit, which has now taken form into what I do with Zippo with the lighters. But we threw events in California for cannabis. So like we would go, we would rent a house, or we did it at different event centers. But like 420 in 2018 was our first like big event. And we rented a house in the Hollywood Hills. We brought
Damn,
in
dude.
like 5 or 6 different cannabis companies that all put up like little booths or tables inside of this mansion, and they gave out free product. We had a DJ,
That sounds
a
like
painter.
the funnest time.
We had a half-pound joint of uh, who was it? Pearl Pharma donated like 5 pounds of weed to us. We rolled a half-pound joint in 24 karat gold paper. We had weed maps there doing activation. So like we would charge weed maps, and Cherry Cola Farms and Dope Duffel donated a bunch of fucking book bags and all kinds of, like, it was wild. We'd bring all these, and then we sold tickets for people to come, and
Damn.
like had a dab bar and all kinds of shit. But we did an event called Breaking the Stigma of Cannabis in Sports. And so I had this tennis player, Mike Redlicki, who's a pro tennis player who was the only professional tennis player with a cannabis exemption. And at the
Why?
time, he had like some sort of like Crohn's issue with
Okay.
his stomach. And so like medically, he
That makes
fought
sense.
it in court. He was a weird dude. He was weird. He was a weird fucking dude. Like 6'10", like big, long tennis player. Um, but I had him come, and then at the time, Rumble was like he had left the UFC and was actually consulting with the LA Rams, or it was the St. Louis Rams at the time, and talking about CBD. And he had gotten a CBD company and was always posting online about weed. So I like hit him up in the DMs and was like, "Yo, dude, like, any interest in being a part of this event?" And he hit me back and was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I flew Rumble to LA, and I'm probably sharing too much, but he's not around anymore anyways. But he shows up with this fucking blonde chick. I put him up in a hotel for 2 days in LA, and he came, hung out at, it was called the Maid Gallery. It was like down in the garment district of LA, and we had him in there, and he did photos and fucking all kinds of shit, hung out, signed autographs for people, and
That's sick.
we became buddies after that. Like he would hit me up, and I think he appreciated that I treated him well. And then I had started a coffee company. He hit me up. He's like, "Yo, dude, I've always wanted to have my own kind of I'm a coffee freak. Like, can I get involved?" And so we kind of went from there. But
That's dope.
yeah, dude, like, it's for everybody listening. People ask me all the time, like, "How do you do that? How do you just
Just
fucking, you
fucking
gotta take a
shoot your
shot.
shot.
Take your shot, man. Like, everybody's
Slide in the
human."
DMs.
Exactly. If it's whether it's Rumble for a business opportunity, or you see some good looking chick, reach into her DMs,
Slide in the DMs,
slide in.
bro.
If you're worthy,
Yeah.
they'll hit you up.
Gotta
But
be undeniable. Confidence is the first. You gotta take the shot. Miss
absolutely,
100% of the shots you don't take.
absolutely. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts about the weed industry now is that from like 2016 to like 2020, we were all just like, yeah, CBD, 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 but everybody knew.
Yes.
And then now it's just like, yeah, we're
Oh, it was
we're
so
fucking
covert.
poking now.
It was so covert. It was like,
It's
here, let's
so
get in
funny
there
it's so
by
funny
just
that
doing this. Yeah, dude. Like, I got to show you this since we're talking about it. But
Rumble.
this was you'll appreciate this, especially because now I've
Dude,
realized that
Rumble was so goddamn good.
he
He
had
had
the
a
touch of
he
death.
might have been the hardest hitter that wasn't a heavyweight for sure. I mean, he was, but he also fought mostly at light heavy. Damn, that's a big, big guy.
Yeah, I mean, we did it right, man. We would
Oh
what,
my
like a
gosh.
torch. Yeah, I mean, it was so
I think taller than Hendricks.
I even had a team. Like this was my team of people.
Wow, that's a lot of white people.
Those two
These
girls are Hispanic. And one of them, I
It's good.
think,
I'm happy you got the
after
token Hispanics.
we I was trying to pay them, and we're trying to look for the one girl. This is just like it's so wild because I'm not like I smoked a lot of weed, but I'm not like into other drugs. And we like
Yeah,
trying to find the girl, and
and you're in LA.
she's in this back bedroom of a mansion doing lines off of a mirror with some random
Of
dude.
course.
And then I found out that she also was a high-end call girl. Somebody that we knew her and was like, "Yeah, you know that she's like a professional
That's good.
and like
Well, I'm happy that
yeah,
that's a good place. You guys should have just left her there. She would have flew herself
I
back.
think she was actually became close friends with the owner of the home who we rented it from.
Good. Yeah. Well, I'm happy for her.
Yeah, this has started off interesting today.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. We're gonna talk about MMA
Yeah.
eventually.
I did want to thank you though for defending me. I saw you got into the comments of Instagram the other day and
uh
was I got into like some verbal spat with a clean comedian.
he's
He's
clean.
clean. Oh yeah.
That's fucking gay.
Which by the way, I just want to clarify something. I love to troll people.
Yeah.
And like I have gotten obviously with Chandler and other things, but before we started, I was telling you about Brendan Schaub,
Yeah.
and I have people fucking so mad at me right now because Schaub posted a video benching
Oh
225.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if you heard him talking on the Fight Companion with Rogan, but Schaub's like, I can bench 225
Like 25 times or
like
something
he
like
think he
that.
said like 35 or his
Yeah.
best ever was like 38. Now, I used to compete in powerlifting. I was never as big as Schaub, but like I think I hit 22, like low 20s a couple of times on
Yeah.
225. That's a lot of reps. And I've seen really strong people do it high 20s, low 30s. I was like, I don't know about that. So then he posts a video and he did it like 32 times. But
Yeah, he's not like
he's not
extending all
completely
the way.
locking out. And so, first off,
I
that
wa
is
I
fucking crazy
okay.
strong.
I was like, I've watched the video. I was like, holy shit. And I even was like, I was like, yeah, he's not locking out. But if you watch the combine, they do the same shit.
Oh, yeah.
So I think like he was training for the NFL combine at one point, and I think that's when he said he hit that max or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's putting up combine
He
numbers. That
is,
shit's crazy.
disclaimer, mad respect. Brennan Schaub is a freak. Super, like, I respect everything he does. So I don't want to be disrespectful. I just love getting people pissed that when I like, how do I drop a little bomb in here? And I've also realized that engaging in Instagram, one of the best things to do is piss people off because it gets everybody looking at
Yeah,
your shit.
yeah,
And so
100%.
I just made a comment that like, I bet you he can't hit 23 if he locked them all out. Now, I don't know, and nor really do I care. I moved on. And then I came back 2 hours later and just was like, you're wrong. I looked at your page and blah, blah, blah. And then I look and I'm like, oh, look at this doughboy defending his fictitious boyfriend, Brendan Schaub. And there's like a bunch of people. So, like, I have one guy that I said, dude, I'm not going to respond to any more of your comments unless you post a video of you doing it one time without a spotter. And like then he takes the bait and is like arguing with me. And I just am like, I'll take 15 seconds to respond to you and piss you off because I am
Is
a
that
grown
the
adult and have nothing else to do.
is that the clean comedian?
No, I just said he had a really bad joke and I commented and I just was like, this was lazy. And he instantly hit me back and was like just talking mad shit about
Just
me
chirping.
and
I don't even
everything
know
that
what
I
I
do.
said.
And I said, hey man, like
Hey man,
do we need to help plug your next, you know, Disney Cruise Line show that you're going to go out on the road with? Like, I just,
being a clean comedian's hilarious.
yeah, it's tough. Nate Bargatze's the only one that I've ever really heard. I like Seinfeld. I think Seinfeld's funny, but that was in the 90s.
Well, what's his Fluffy's kind of he's like geared
Yes.
towards like that audience. I'd
Yeah.
say he's like PG-13.
Yeah.
Um, but like I don't think he's funny.
Yeah. No,
I feel like comedy, like the best part of comedy is the raunchiness.
yeah. You
Uh,
watch Kill Tony?
I have it. I know it's on Netflix and stuff now. I've watched it
I woke
before, like in
Allison
the
up
past.
three times last night at 1 in the morning because I couldn't sleep and I was watching the first episode of Kill Tony on Netflix
Hmm.
because he got this Netflix deal. I will tell you this: you need to watch from the beginning of it until the end of the first bucket pull. So like the concept how they pull a
Yeah.
name out of the bucket and it's just some random person they get to get up on stage and they get a minute. The first guy, his set and the subsequent interview, not for the reasons that you're going to think. I was by my sleeping, like, or she was sleeping. I was awake, and I woke her up. She's like, "What are you laughing about?" I'm like, I was fucking out of breath. I was laughing so hard.
Are you big into comedy?
Fucking love it.
Schultz and Dalia just dropped comedy special. Schultz is
Yes.
really good. Dalia's is a little bit more geared towards like, him having a kid and stuff.
Yeah.
But Schultz he's I think he's got to be one of the
Oh,
funniest out
dude.
right now.
So we used to stay at the Andes in West Hollywood whenever I would go to LA, and I was there like every other weekend. My brother lived, both two of my younger brothers lived in LA. One of them still does. The other one's in the Air Force. But my brother and partner in lit lives in Southern California, and I would fly out and I'd stay at the Andes, which is next door to the Comedy Store in West
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hollywood. So like we'd go over and watch Joey Diaz and Segura and Rogan. This was like when it was
That's
like
sick.
before the pandemic, before Joe left.
That's sick.
Um, Tim Dillon, but whenever I'd go to New York City, I would always just go to like the cellar, watch Ari, just like do the sets that you hear them
Ari.
talk about, where it's like 15, 20 minutes of them working out material. Sometimes it was good. Other
Sometimes it
times it was
fucking
just like,
suck.
what the fuck are you talking about? But I
That's
absolutely love
wild. I
comedy.
mean, that makes sense though. Like if you came to like a practice of mine, watch me hit pads, but man, it looks fucking sucks. If you could just come on like a random Tuesday and I'm not feeling it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would imagine the same thing for comedy, right? You got your good days and your bad days.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, good days and bad days when you're a dad. Good
Yeah,
days and bad. I mean,
everything in life.
last weekend, not one of my good days.
Oh, yeah.
That
And
experiment, by the way, that'll never happen
Hendrix
again.
is running around while we're talking about
Bro, I was editing that podcast and I
psilocybin
was like,
mushrooms and
I looked so pissed off so many times. I'm just like,
I had my eyes on him the whole time, and I
I'm
was
like,
just like,
bro, what are you
I
doing?
wish I could communicate with him and be like, dude, stop jumping on that. Your dad's gonna be mad. He's cracking me up though. He's having a blast.
He was having a good time. I'm always more worried about like, I'm like, we've got a guest. So we don't get an opportunity to have certain people on all the
Yeah,
time. I'm just like, okay, you told me you were going to sit down. And I'm like,
yeah.
the whole time I was asking myself, why did I
Why? Yeah.
believe a
I mean, it's your
5-year-old?
fault. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
for
it was.
sure.
And then on top of it, I forgot this fucking wonderful thing. But
Oh yeah, dude, we've been killing it with guests lately.
we have.
Our viewership's gone up a ton.
I was just looking at some things last night, just rolling through. I was cleaning up some of our shit, and one of the things that popped up was like we're up 300% month over month on listens and downloads just on Spotify, given
I only see our YouTube numbers.
yeah, which they're growing. And I on it, like I was
Yeah,
telling you, I've got a bunch of stuff. If you're listening to this, give me a couple like this weekend, I've got probably 50 plus videos that haven't been released. If you listen to this stuff, you've heard it, but I think there's always an element of being able to see
yeah, with the
what's going
clips and
on.
shit.
So
That's sick. Yeah, my parents, that one did
did
really,
really
really
good.
well. I know a lot of people from like my hometown and stuff. They'll watch that I haven't communicated with.
Dude, we have people from
God knows how
Europe
long.
that are listening.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. There's like last
Europe,
last episode, there was a decent amount of people from like England, France, a lot of decent number from Canada.
Canada, huh?
Yeah, but definitely PA and Ohio like clearly rule the
Yeah, for
roost.
sure, for sure. Get it. We'll get in that West Virginia.
I
We got,
think Cam, your last opponent, he's become a listener of the podcast.
yeah, it makes sense. He's a cool, dude.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so we had my parents on, and we followed up with Ty Waters.
that was a great one. I like that kid.
Yeah, he's super good kid. Super good kid. And he's gonna be a national champion. 1000%. I mean, he got fourth in the country as as an 18-year-old true freshman.
And he's so humble.
So humble, so like just genuine and kind. He's a good kid, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kyle O'Hare, who is fucking destined for greatness in tons of different ways, man.
Yes,
He's an
I hope
interesting
he
cat.
keeps it rolling because that is a fun person who will have an immense amount of success if he can get up to that next couple tiers.
Yeah, he really will. He's super good. And he just like he has a very good mindset with like growth and just doing all the right stuff. I'm excited to see him get challenged. He's got a tough fight. He fights next weekend, on the 19th in Youngstown. I'm gonna try to make it up. The Luke the Chef seminar is during is in Zealand, and then I'm trying to zip out there after that, which actually Zealand is pretty close to Youngstown, so I might make it a little bit easier. Um, and then next day is Easter. It's like
Dude, I'm bummed. I'm not going to be able to be there. I was,
the chef seminar.
yeah,
Oh damn.
I know. You're going to be up in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, I know. That sucks. He's a cool dude, man. He did the seminar last year around April, and I like talked to him a decent amount, like through Instagram and stuff. I One of my fights, he like sent me a voice memo, like
Oh,
just
that's nice.
congratulate. Yeah, like we're pretty cool with each other. We watched UFC 300 after his fight, and he's a cool dude to be around, man. Like he's a fun guy. I'm excited to kick kick it with him and
Hmm.
learn, dude. He's got some cool shit. He's best American Muay Thai fighter. And he's got Shane Faison coming as well, who's now his coach. And Shane Faison is like the fight. Like if you looked up how to throw a punch from 2010 to 2025, Shane Faison's the dude that came up. He's a fight tips
Hmm.
guy.
Hmm.
He's like I knew who he was without knowing who he was.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh shit, this is the guy from Fight Tips. And I saw him like link with Luke, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. But I'm super excited for that seminar. I've been to a ton of seminars and clinics and all this stuff in my entire life. Like just growing up in wrestling. His seminar was one of the best technical seminars I've ever been to in my life, but by far the funnest seminar I've ever been to in
Really?
my life. Not even close. He like we warm up, we're listening to music, we're bouncing around. It's like a Zumba class. Like
Have you done a
everybody's
seminar up in Zealand? I know most often they're always down in the
no, they're
strip.
usually down the strip. His was in the strip also.
Dude, I have high confidence that you will be like, holy fuck, what is going on up here?
Yeah.
It's unreal.
I hope
The amount of people that school has,
I hope it comes out in full force, man.
they will.
Last year I mean I think he sold out. We had like couple hundred people. I would imagine with Shane Faison it should sell out. The numbers are limited. And I mean last year, dude, he stayed and sparred with the guys.
Really?
Yeah, he sparred with like 16 people. Just like for anybody from like me to like first day people.
Really?
Yeah, it was super cool. And the seminar itself, like he wasn't like crunched for time. I've been at clinics where like they hit an hour and they're like, oh, gotta get the fuck out. Dude, it went 2 hours and then he sparred with us. Like it was wild.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's super cool, dude. So I'm super excited about that. And then zip out, watch Kyle TikTok dance on somebody, and then next day's Easter. I'm probably just gonna stay back. I've been driving to Columbus a lot.
Yeah, I wish I would have, we would have pressed on more. Like he's gonna have to have a strategy
For what?
getting fights because it's going to get to a point
Yeah,
where I
100%.
think it's going to actually help him at some point, right? Because after he gets through a little bit of this amateur career, guys are going to want to fight him because they want to use his name, his platform as a way to propel themselves. But right now,
I think in an amateur,
especially because he's really good as an early amateur.
I think as an amateur, it's gonna be the hardest time for him to get fights.
Yeah,
I think for him, he should fight that one dude. He hates when I bring it up. That Wing C guy. He was they have like the same amount of followers and stuff. And this dude was like backyard fighting. What's that called?
oh, okay. I know who you're
Yeah, he
talking
walks
about.
out with like these wings. And goofy kid, but he's decent, right? He's got some talent. I think Kyle would beat him, but like it would be good for both of them, grow the brand.
Yeah.
Hopefully that happens in like a 247 card or something.
Who's he
Yeah.
fight for? Is it a different promotion that he fought the last? Because he was what, Made Men
Kyle,
promotion?
he's fighting for Made Men as well at the Youngstown venue, which is I've never fought for them, but it's probably my favorite venue in the world.
They have
It's
a
at Penguin City
chick
Brewery.
that's the
Yes,
matchmaker.
Nicole Castillo.
Okay, that's the promotion, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've
She
heard.
match makes for a lot of promotions
Okay,
around
yeah.
the area. Um, like a lot, almost everything. Um, she's great at her job, and her husband fights as well.
Okay.
Um, but this venue, it's a Penguin City Brewery in Youngstown, right? Youngstown is the butthole of Ohio. It's the worst part of Ohio, and it's not even close, right? And I would
That
say
that's a lot.
it's the worst city in the tri-state area. Yes. No,
Really?
it's not even close.
Okay.
Terrible place. But this little gym, right? It's right on the corner. It's just a brewery, right? You walk in, they have an event this time around 420, and they always have an event during Christmas. You walk in, there's a bar, always sports games going on, really cool. You walk up the steps, it's like the distillery part, right? Where they're having the beer, they got the kegs and stuff, and then you walk in the back, and it feels like you walk in like NBA Street,
Okay, I
right?
know what you're talking
There's
about.
bleachers, streamer lights like up top, a bar, and just people just standing around with a cage right in the
What's
center.
the capacity, do you think?
I don't know, but they definitely break it, but it's Youngstown, so rules don't matter. And it's the fucking best. I would fight there. And it's so cool. And Kyle sells a shitload of tickets. That place
Yeah.
is going to be
Yeah,
rowdy.
his episode gave us a big pop.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah. There was
Dude,
a lot of like instantly before I
yeah, we
I
haven't even dropped
uploaded
any
it.
clips yet.
No, I know. I uploaded the video and then I went and did something. I came back and I'm like looking, I'm like, holy fuck. Like
Yeah,
it's been like 4 hours.
he's never done a
As soon as
podcast
he
either.
shared it on his social, it like
Dude,
exploded.
I can't wait for him to walk out, and that fight's gonna be crazy, and that venue is sick. I've cornered there so many times. I've cornered there. For some reason I'm just always at that that venue, like probably 3 or 4 times, probably 5 times. And I've only been fighting for like 3 years. I've been around this nearly 3 years. And it's hilarious, dude, to see that venue it's my favorite. It's
Hmm.
just and it brings out the Youngstown. It's
I used
just
to have to go Youngstown area for work.
yeah.
My wife has a Christmas party there. Has had a Christmas party there the last few years. It's definitely sketch, dirty.
It's it it's if you put the worst of Ohio, PA, and West Virginia into one place, that's what you get. But
That's fair.
it's it's a, the Penguin City Brewery is a good place to be.
I will say my hometown where I grew up, it's small, but there's a Facebook group called Bitchin' About Bradford, and I just like I've made a rule, don't ever comment. I've broken it a couple of times, but it's typically a bunch of low life people from where I grew up that are just like welfare drug addicts that are like posting wild ass shit and arguing with each other. And then occasionally there's business owners that like try to promote shit in there because there's like
Yeah.
10,000 members of this group and everybody in town is on it. But the other day there was a post that two Venezuelan immigrants who are illegal tried to steal an ATM machine from the Hamlin Bank in town. And like I grew up, dude, it was like not a bad place. It was just a small little, kind of like in a small Ohio suburb, 7,500, 10,000 people. Rode my bike across town, did whatever the fuck I wanted. And now it's like
How far did they get with this ATM machine?
they didn't get it. It triggered an alarm, and then they went and they did an investigation, and they found two Venezuelan people, and then they checked out, and they were like, "Oh, you guys aren't legal. You're here illegally." And so they called ICE. It was like a big thing. We've had a lot of interesting things in Bradford.
It sucks. That's I mean,
It's sad, man, because there's a lot of history there, and there's a lot of people who I still care a lot about. But when I go back, I'm quickly reminded why I do not live there.
my town is the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, dude,
Gotten better.
I grew up, it was kind of like it was like Columbus, like adopted by Columbus. Like I grew up, we had this beat down movie theater, graffiti all over it, kind of like a shithole, right? It wasn't like bad, but it was like it wasn't adopted by the suburb of Westerville yet. So it was like an in between. It's like the first exit out of Columbus. And then now, like that movie theater turned into an Aldi. It's got like all this glass. They redid the entire like area. It's sick. We get
What
flowers and stuff.
what made that change possible?
Columbus is just expanding,
So
so
it's
it's
the
just
city.
yeah. Well, and then the suburbs are like adopted. It's just become bigger. Columbus is like one of the biggest growing cities in the country.
So that's probably, I mean, that makes sense. Bradford is like the closest thing to Bradford is like Erie is like an hour and 20 minutes to the west. Buffalo's like
Erie might be my
an
second
hour.
least favorite.
It's such a shithole.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it.
Buffalo's north by
Never been.
like an hour and 10. You've never been to Buffalo?
No,
Oh, Lucas.
I don't see a reason to go.
And then Pittsburgh, obviously down here is like we'd go school clothes shopping or like it's like a big deal to go to Erie when I was a kid. Buffalo, like if you went to Pittsburgh, it was like, oh, we're gonna stay overnight.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Columbus, we kind of had everything we needed. We didn't get a what are the when you get in school clothes shopping, you go to the like
Outlet.
outlets. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there wasn't a Tanger outlets in Columbus, so I would drive down to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
That was it. Like that
We
was
hit up
about all the traffic.
Burlington Coat Factory in Erie. It was always the first shop. And then if we had any money left, then it was like, hey, let's go to JC
You
Penney's or
guys were
something.
balling out at Burlington, huh?
Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
we had a J.C. Penney. That was my mom's go-to. J.C. Penney. My mom liked Kohl's a
I
lot.
did not realize how fucking broke I was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like shout out to my parents for like making sure I always had like badass sneakers and stuff because
Dude, I was talking to somebody like we weren't like broke, but they got three kids, right?
yeah,
And they're all separate ages. Dude, balling out was if we went to Olive Garden.
yeah,
Olive Garden, Red. If you did something amazing, spectacular, we went to Red
yeah.
Lobster.
Applebee's was like, oh, we're going to like it took me a long time, even into my adulthood, where I was like, oh, Applebee's isn't
The
like a high,
bees,
yeah, it's not a high end restaurant.
dude. Mike Wilkins will tell you about the bees.
Is he a big Bees fan?
Oh, dude,
We used to go
he's
after we played
sponsored.
poker.
He's sponsored by the
We'd
bees.
go get a blondie or an apple chimichurri, get some fajitas.
Oh, fajitas.
Fajitas are the shit.
My dad ordered fajitas anywhere he goes. Obnoxiously comes
I used to
out.
love that type of food. Like just Applebee's, TGI Fridays, you get a Jack Daniel
Dude,
burger.
Applebee's, I would like talk a lot of shit on it for a long time. I think mostly because Mike liked it so much. And I just like, I like the challenge every once in a while. I can't be on board with everything, right?
Hmm.
Then I went with Brian Mitchell one time and it was like $25 and I shit you not, I got three meals and I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like might have been less than $20.
Hmm.
It might be the best bang for your buck. And the food was like incredible.
And killer decor.
Yeah, dude. Applebee's don't so I went to Applebee's obviously as a kid. I went to Applebee's in the DMV one time. Don't do that. Not the best customer service, just to, put that out there. And then I went to Applebee's in Monroeville.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a good idea.
No, it's the
Is
best.
it a good one?
Oh, it's fucking best.
I've had some choice experiences with food establishments in Monroeville.
Oh, really?
Murraysville, it's like a line. There's like a line of decency that I feel like
Yeah.
you kind of cross over, but
Huh.
yeah. I have a real bad problem. Like I will wait in line somewhere. I don't eat it like sub places, but there was like a time where I'd go to like I'd pop into a Subway and I'd wait in line, then I'd get all the way up and then I'd see the person making my food and I'm like, "Jeez, I can't have you make my
Really?
food. I can't eat it
Why
like
they're like chubby or
chubby."
they're like sweating? They're like
Yeah, yeah.
flies
There'd be
going like if
like
they were a
you there's
cartoon
like a
character.
general like I'm certainly like I'm like I'm gonna make an assumption, but you don't wash your hands when you go in and shit, and you probably dug your ass, and now you're gonna like make even though you've got plastic gloves on, you just look greasy, or
Yeah,
your fingernails are dirty, or
I'm
there's like
picturing it.
I'll pick up on something and I'm instantly like no.
Yeah, that's fair. I
I
get that.
I have a
Dude,
hard time with that, dude. Or I'll pull into a restaurant. We had reservations at a decent restaurant, and I pulled up, And when I pulled up, the side of the building was there, and there was like two people with like they probably weren't the chef, maybe they were, I don't know. They were in like white cook stuff.
Yeah.
They were doing something with the food, and they're both out sitting on like milk crates outside of this door by the dumpster smoking cigarettes. And I'm just like, I'm about ready to spend like $500
Yeah,
on
fuck
dinner
that.
here, and
$500 on dinner, you're
you're
no.
outside.
Yeah, I don't want to
Like
see you.
you
I don't
look
want to see you. You need to be
don't
mysterious.
yeah,
If
let
I'm
me
spending a lot of money on a nice dinner, I want like a nice ambiance. I don't want to see you. You should disappear into
it
the
made me want to
black.
negotiate. I wanted to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, the tomahawk looks great, but instead of,
Yeah, but if
160
Tom's
bucks,
making my tomahawk, I want it half price.
yeah, like you do know that the guy was outside like smoking Marbreds and he's probably still smells like him right now. Like, that's mean, but I'm fucking paying. I want my food. I want
Dude,
it done right.
so one thing I will say about this great city of Pittsburgh, I loved Chipotle, right?
Mm,
Growing up, right? Great. Right? It's consistent, you know what you're getting.
yeah.
Pittsburgh, I
No
don't know.
salmonella.
I don't know. Yeah, they do have a little bit of that. Just don't get lettuce. Fucking lettuce is
Yeah.
useless anyway, right? But whoever is the franchise owner in Pittsburgh, I hate them.
Yeah, they don't. I'm not a big
Dude,
fan.
Chipotle's in Pittsburgh, they're completely different, right?
Yeah.
They're like, it's like I went to that Wawa in Baltimore. Whoever's that franchise owner, you need to fix some stuff. Chipotle's in Pittsburgh are terrible. You go to Chipotle anywhere else in the entire country, you know what you're getting, right? You walk up, they ask you stuff. They're like, yeah, we have burritos. We have bowls to make stuff in. I go to a Chipotle in Pittsburgh. I'm like, can I get a burrito? We're out of that. The fuck are you out of a burrito? That doesn't even make sense,
Yeah.
right? It Chipotle in Pittsburgh it's just such a disappointment. It really upsets me because
Moses
it's a
where it's
good place.
at.
Dude, so my college roommate was from Pittsburgh and he used to be like all on board with Moe's. And I was like, that's stupid. I don't agree. Chipotle is the best. They got a Chipotle in Morgantown. He was like, yo, Chipotle is great. And I was like, yeah. Then I moved to Pittsburgh and I understand why you hated Chipotle because it sucks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I like Moses tacos.
whoever the franchise owner of Pittsburgh Chipotle's is, you need to figure something out because I just want a
We just
burrito,
need to
bro.
make a list and then post it of just all the like I have an issue with the Cranberry Township, the guy that owns the Chick-fil-A there. You ever gone
Oh,
through that
really?
drive-through?
Yeah. I used to live right next to
I
it.
want to become a mass murderer.
Dude, Chick-fil-A drive-throughs are a science. First off, have to understand how to navigate them. If it's
Bro,
your first time ever going to a Chick-fil-A,
you can't navigate this one. They're out there with a fucking thing saying, what can I'm like, bro, the signs up there. Do you have a menu? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't. I'm like,
because
okay.
that's because they assume that you're a frequent
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A guy, right? But if you've only gone to Chick-fil, like if you've never gone to a Chick-fil-A, first off, you're circling around that bitch like three times, right? Because you don't know where to enter
Yeah.
because it wraps around because I
Yeah.
don't know what in the world happened because all they sell is chicken and some sauces, but it's the most popular place in America. But it wraps around like four times. You got to get in this line, and then if you turn the wrong way, you're like running into cars. There's like people with the little tablets. You might run one of those 16-year-old girls over.
Hmm.
It's difficult, but it's kind of a science. Right? You gotta obviously this one in Cranberry is not great, but some of them, dude, I'll get in the longest line ever. Shit takes 5 minutes.
Yeah. 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 I
It,
feel like they build things and then they don't use them. I'm like, what do you do? Like, I don't know. It drives
I
me
don't know.
nuts.
Chick-fil-A is up there though. Yeah, I used to live literally right there.
We lived at this, I forget. Yeah, you lived at the same building I lived at
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, it's wild. I worked at that Olive Garden right next to it.
My mom worked at that Olive Garden as a second job when she moved back here.
Hell yeah.
How long did you work there?
2022.
I think she moved back after that.
Slanging breadsticks.
Yeah,
Oh, worst job
probably.
ever,
She was a
dude.
hostess. Like she picked up a second job when she first moved back. I was like,
That job's hard
yo,
as fuck.
she would call me just bitching. She's
Yeah,
like
bro.
these young, inconsiderate, unresponsible teens that she
Dude.
worked with.
Well, yeah, I was one of those.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
No, I was a little bit more like mature, but I will tell you that job sucked because if you work at a normal restaurant, right? This is the last thing we're gonna talk about food. All right, we gotta move on. But you work at a normal restaurant, You just got to refill the water,
Yeah.
right? They run the glass gets like halfway, you come around, you refill their drink, right? You swoop it. It's not that hard. You work at Olive Garden, there's unlimited drinks, there's unlimited breadsticks, there's unlimited soup, and there's unlimited salad. That's not fair. I have to account for all of those and get your meal and worry about the other person over. Like, it's wild. It is, it might be like they say America runs on Dunkin'. Dude, we need to really,
Have you
really
looked around? It
push.
clearly runs on breadsticks.
Yeah, it does.
It
It
does.
does.
It
It runs
does.
on bread. Dude, I will say one thing about Olive Garden, which I didn't believe until I started working there. There's only two things that are frozen in that entire store. It's the breadsticks and the broccoli.
Really?
Yeah, everything's out. Everything else is fresh. They like walk in, you're like cutting the shit up for the soup in the morning.
Okay. All right.
But dude, we'd have people come in, get unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks, and just eat three soups or four soups. Try every soup on the menu. And it's like $12. So I get like a $3 tip, but I gotta worry about them the whole time. So it
Anybody
was,
ever leave you like a big ass tip?
oh no, I wasn't. I sucked at my job. So
Okay.
no. I got left with no tip once.
So hold on. I knew we said that we weren't. So my brother, the one who's in the Air Force,
Yeah.
he lived in LA beforehand, and he was working doing a job at Weed Maps, and then he picked up a job at Olive Garden. And I would talk to him randomly, and then one day I talked to him. I'm like, "How's the job been?" He's like, "Oh, you didn't hear." I'm like, "No, I
You
didn't
get
hear. What
fired.
happened?" No. So my brother had like he'd get like really mad and just flustered and pissed off and like immaturity too. Like he'd
Yeah.
be the first to say like I was a little immature, but he was like it was lunchtime and these people came in and they sat down. They're like, "Hey, we need to be out of here in like 40 minutes." And my brother was like, "Okay." And he said they started to order these drinks and one wanted it without ice and the other person wanted something different. And then they started to place their food orders and everything was like, "I want this way," but it's like stuff that's not on the menu. And my brother's like, I had been there for only like a month and a half. I fucking hated my job. And he goes over to the thing and he's like trying to like punch it in
Oh
and
yeah.
he's forgetting. So he goes back and he's like, these people were complete assholes to me. And he's like, so I stood there and I go back to the kiosk and I'm trying to look how to like create these custom orders. And he's like, I just kept getting like the walls were closing in on me. He's like, I turned around and the guy standing behind me was like, "Hey, Jake, like calm down. It's not a big deal." And my brother said, "Fuck this, I'm done." He took his apron off and he's like, I walked to the table and threw the apron down. I was like, "One of you guys can go figure this shit out. Good luck." And he's like, I just fucking left him there.
That's
He's like, these people
gangster.
needed to get back to their job. They were all there on lunch.
Dude,
I
that's a power move
he's like, I
to
just
quit.
literally I thought I was gonna lose my shit. And he's like, I quit my job.
My brother did the exact same thing, but he was 16 and worked at Burger King.
Yeah.
He bounced, jumped over the like little gate and just
Yeah,
left.
Jacob was like 22, 23, 20, maybe even 24 at the
Dude,
time.
I might work at a fast food place just to quit like that. It's such a power move. I feel like you just like
Fuck you, you're
fuck
cool.
you. Yeah.
Fuck you, I'm out.
It's like a
Yeah.
TV show.
Yeah, no, but listen, to transition, although that was a hell of a lot of fun. I like
Yeah.
every once in a while it's fun to complain.
We went in.
Um, but I mean training, when when are you able to make an announcement on what your future plans are?
So my future plans as of now, like I can make an announcement that I what I'm planning on doing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not nothing signed yet,
Yeah.
but I am supposed to, and I'm getting matched for LFA in Salamanca, New York on June 20th. So I can't I'm so excited. Um
Bro, I'm
yeah,
fucking pumped.
it's a huge step up. I'm gonna be on the main card, so I'll be on UFC Fight Pass. And we win this fight, man. There's some big things around on the horizon, and this itself is a huge thing. Being on the main card of a UFC Fight Pass card is a big deal.
Hmm.
And I just can't wait. I cannot wait to go and perform on the biggest stage, the minor league to the UFC, the biggest promotion outside of the UFC, right? The feeder to the UFC has all the champions, I mean, look at their alumni. It's crazy, right? And
Hmm.
I don't think it makes sense for me to fight anywhere but the biggest stage. As I'm trying to propel myself into the UFC, I to get like just kind of like mentally there, right? I haven't been in that arena, so I was watching their old cards in Salamanca, and I cannot wait, dude. I really really
So I'm
cannot
glad that
wait.
I talked so much positivity about Bradford because that's literally 15 minutes north of where I grew up. So I'm very familiar with Salamanca. I'm
Yeah,
very familiar with the casino. Lost a lot of money at that casino. Um, and we go there sometimes every year. It seems like for Fourth of July fireworks. It's a fantastic place. When I trained and fought mixed martial arts, my gym, the Knockout Factory, was in Salamanca. It was on the other side of the highway from the casino.
yeah.
Um,
Luke Martin fought there June of last year, I believe, or
yeah,
might have
yep.
been later in the year, but yeah, I they have a couple events. They had an event maybe February. Firdaus Naimi from Matt Factory fought on it. He fought that Jacob Wiggins kid. They had a really good fight on that card. I mean, dude, LFA is, I mean, it's the biggest promotion,
Yeah,
obviously.
last time they were in Salamanca, I had a couple of buddies. They shot me a photo. They were hanging out with fucking Alex Pereira because his
Yeah,
sister fought on that
yeah,
card.
that would have been that. I think that was the last one with Bobby, but he was at the one that Luke Martin fought on as well.
That that was the one my
Yeah,
buddies were at.
yeah, he was
So
on they were like backstage with Mike and Will.
yeah,
And I mean, it's to be expected. Like the stars come out for that. Most of them like have a teammate fighting or somebody along the lines. I almost fought on the one in San Diego or and not in South Dakota. SD
fucking big difference.
SD same thing.
San Diego and South
Well, I
Dakota.
almost fought on one.
It's two
I
very
tried to fight
different.
on one in South in
I
California in
get the
my defense.
I
All
get
right,
the I
all
get
right,
the mix
all
up,
right,
but
whatever.
that's
I almost fought on that one, which I'm kind of upset when I saw the like he was fighting on it. My like one of my favorite wrestlers from when I was a kid, like college wrestlers, Jordan
oh
Oliver's on it. And that would have been sick to fight alongside him, but
mhm.
it seemed like a quick turnaround, and for the biggest step up I've ever had, I think I should take the most amount of time. So I'm just under 10 weeks out.
Okay.
Just under 10 weeks out. So we're diving back into everything. I kind of took like I don't want to say a break, right? But I kind of like training was whenever I felt like it, right? Usually after I fight, it's like, all right, if I want to go train, I'll train. Um, Still hitting pads of will on my times and stuff. And then just kind of like let my body heal a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, and then now we're diving back in.
I know we've talked post fight from this last 247 event against Cam a couple of times, but I mean, we probably haven't talked about it in at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And like as you've had more time to digest your performance, the lead up to it, the things that you feel like you've gotten really good, even stuff that you weren't able to show in there, like you know where your game is today.
Yeah.
And you had an opportunity to get in there against a really skilled, experienced pro, gritty guy, tough guy, dude that hit hard.
Hmm.
But knowing you're going up in competition and you're going to keep going, what have you recognized that is like, okay, here's where I really need to or want to continue to evolve so that I not only have success to LFA, but success on my trajectory to what ultimately is a spot in UFC, hopefully.
I think, you know, every fight teaches you something, right? Or you learn something from it.
Mm-hmm.
With Cam, there's two things I learned, right? Or a couple things I learned in avenues I need to get better, right? I think striking, just comfortability, when somebody's like throwing, and we're already working on it, right? That's why I'm not scared to say it right now because I'll be a completely different fighter when I step in 10 weeks from now. Um, and I'm doing the right things to do that, put myself in situations where I'm kind of getting that oh shit feeling. And I'm going to continue to do that. Uh, I think throwing more volume on top. And that to me is just a mental switch. I think watching Sean Brady and kind of listening to
Mm.
Sean Brady after what he said, I watched a lot of his interviews afterwards, and he was saying like he was going pretty hard in sparring on top and like landing some nice shots. Um, and those are like not the negative things, but some of the things we learned, right? And actually on Monday, before I left for Columbus, I watched the fight back with Mike and Will, and we kind of all, came to our own conclusions. Here's what we need to get better. Um, here's, some areas of improvement. Here's how we're gonna do it. Just like professionals, right? Get a
Hmm.
whiteboard out, write some shit down. But the number one thing I did take away from it in a positive sense is that I'm a winner, right? Just pure, like,
Hmm.
if you put me in the cage with somebody, I will figure out how to beat them. Um, and that is something I can take away from a positive sense. Like, I called an audible. We had a completely different game plan, and I called an audible, and we ran that game plan, and I won. And I was in like, and I brought it up before, that guillotine, it's funny to look at because my hand instinctually goes to tap. My body like wanted to quit. And I like my hand started doing this and I decided, I made a decision, a conscious decision. I've never been choked unconscious, right? I'm not one of these guys in the gym that goes out all the time. Never been choked out. I made a decision. I was like, today's the day. I'm got like if I'm going out on my shield. And I fought through it, got out, and I knew I was tough, but like that just, that's
Hmm.
another thing that proves it in my head
Hmm.
where it's like, all right, what's your resume of being tough? All right, well, I have a fucking lot of things. If you get me in a guillotine, you're gonna have to squeeze like a motherfucker. I was in a guillotine at IBJJF. I hurt myself for 2 weeks after because I didn't tap. But I think just like finding ways to win,
Hmm.
right? And being a high level performer, like sometimes it's not gonna be easy, right? You're gonna have to gut through some shit and you're gonna have to change game plans. You're gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to beat people when there's only one avenue to beat them. And sometimes you just gotta do that, right?
Yeah.
If it's gonna be boring or whatever, like it is what it is. Um, Winning's most important and everything else like kind of falls in line from there. So I think that's the biggest takeaway I had in a positive sense. Um, is that I know how to win.
Yeah. No, obviously from my perspective, that's the thing that really stood out to me was like there's some people that when the going gets tough, they get going, and there's other people that when it gets hot in the kitchen, they kind of feel at home. And you definitely felt like you didn't shrink in the moment. You felt at home, and it's a good way of putting it. Like you found a way to win. You called it an audible, and you executed on that.
Yeah.
Um, so I have had this interesting thought, and I think this is perfect because, I mean, by the way, shout out. We had Ryan on from
Yeah.
Underdog, that
Yeah,
a
Ryan Tuttle.
new.
Yeah, Ryan Tuttle. He owns Underdog, Pittsburgh-based company. Um, and their apparel brand and stuff. And I really like what they were promoting, right, in
Yeah.
terms of that company. Um, and they came and did like a little video on me leading up to my second fight. And it was really cool. It's still like pinned on their IG and stuff. And Ryan's somebody I really like because he preaches a lot of stuff, right? But he's always in there doing it. Like he's one of those dudes, you follow him on Instagram.
Hmm.
He actually is up at 4 or 5 a.m. running. Like he's doing the shit that he's talking about, right? And he also was a big time bodybuilder, competing, like, and he knows a lot of people in that community. And he wanted to start this brand. And I was like, dude, I've always wanted a supplement company as a sponsor, and this works out really well.
Hmm.
So yeah, we he hooked me up with some supplements, and I will tell you first, and I'm gonna do like a little ad read for the creatine itself. This protein powder is the best
That's
protein
what you're
powder.
saying.
Dude, I'm not kidding. It's amazing. It tastes like brownies, like brownie batter, like straight up. It's so good. Um, I might let you try this pre-workout because I'm not a huge pre-workout guy, or maybe I'll take it right before I'm about to go hit that to Will. I have not tried this, but that protein powder is like amazing. Everything's made in America, which is one of the coolest parts to me.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh based, made in America. And then the creatine, Will's been big on me getting on creatine, not only for muscle like endurance and stuff, but cognitively, dude,
Yeah.
apparently
Oh, it's a nootropic type.
it's a nootropic, but it also helps with brain damage.
Yeah.
Fighting, right?
Yeah.
Because it keeps
Keeps
like
the water
water
in your brain.
in your brain.
Yeah.
So on sparring days, I'll double my creatine and take a lot of fish oil,
Yeah.
omega 3s to help with that. So
What are you taking? Like 5 grams traditionally, 10 grams
I
on
take five
sparring
grams
days?
each day, and then on sparring days or days I like get hit in that, I take 10 grams of creatine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and people like worry that it's gonna put weight on you. It doesn't necessarily, if you're eating right and you're doing the right shit, it's not going to put weight on you. It might put like a pound or two extra water weight on you. But if you're fighting, don't cut weight with creatine in your body, right? Kind of cut it out like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks out, and that water's just going to dump out of you faster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you still get all the benefits of, the muscle endurance and all that stuff. And then after you weigh in, you're supposed to take creatine as well. Like all this stuff, like I used to be very like, I used to read about it, but science changes like fast.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Creatine is top two, top three,
Yeah.
like legal, like supplements that will not really, it's not going to harm you.
No. Well, it's natural, dude. That's one
Yeah.
thing people don't understand about creatine is like it's in steak. Like it's a natural
Mm-hmm.
thing. And it's
Yeah. Go get your blood drawn. You'll have a creatine level.
yeah, yeah, people don't understand that. People think like when they hear the word supplement, right, they think, I'm putting something in my body that's like not that isn't supposed to belong there.
Meanwhile, they eat a diet that would probably more than most
Dude.
require them to supplement. Like you need to
Yeah.
supplement because people aren't eating the right types of foods.
Yeah, I haven't been like throughout my career, I haven't done all I've just kind of like got by with, working my ass off and talent. Now it's like this shit's important too, right? The stretching, the sauna, all that shit.
So that's where I was going to go because I saw a picture the other day of Islam. It was actually like 5 different fighters. It was Islam, it was Jiri, it was Umar. There's 5 or 6 people, and it showed when a picture of them when they first got into the UFC,
Okay.
their debut, like their photo and their fight kit, and then it showed them now, or probably what is their most recent fight,
Okay.
right? And there was a lot of things that you could look at and see, like, oh, he looks older, he looks younger, or his nose. This Marab was one of them. It was like, oh, his nose looks a little fucking different. It obviously fucked up his nose. But the one thing I noticed from each one of them that was across the board, unanimously, they all looked bigger. They all looked stronger. And I don't believe any of them were fighting in different weights than what they were,
Yeah.
right? Islam's probably cutting a lot more weight
Yeah.
than he was, but they all looked bigger and stronger.
Uh-huh.
And I I feel like as you climb, that's probably one of the most under recognized or underappreciated things. Like clearly skill, everybody looks, it's like, okay, I'm going from amateur to pro. I'm going from regional pro to LFA. I'm going from LFA to the UFC. There's an obvious level of skill that comes, but I would say that there's probably just as much of a holy fuck, like physicality, strength, and like how important is that? And I'm assuming that's something as to why you're
So,
leaning into that.
so there's a couple, one thing that I think's really good about or interesting about this. When you're just starting fighting, you have so much technical shit you have to learn, right? Um, And if I throw a 1-2, right, we can button it up and get it better, right? For like your first 10 fights, it's like even maybe longer. It's like, all right, we're improving on these technical aspects. Eventually, like how you throw a 1-2, you've done it for 5 years. It's just how you're gonna throw it, man. We can try, but like when
Yeah.
you're tired, you're probably just going to throw it that way, right? So what do we need to do is increase you as an athlete, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. You see it with the guys in the UFC, they have a really good strength and conditioning routines.
Hmm.
Now these guys are like it becomes their job, right? They are professional athletes and then the professional,
Yeah.
right? They become more professional. They're doing the right stuff, eating healthier, right? Most of them don't have to worry about nutrition because
Yep.
it's taking care of them for them. But I think that's like once you start to get to the higher levels, I think the athlete part
That's
becomes
my point.
bigger,
Like,
right?
regardless of why they do, though,
I
right?
think you
Like, it's
focused on
reality.
I think you focus on the athlete part a little bit more than the technical things, right? They're still doing technical stuff. They're still getting better technically, but I think the increase on being a better athlete, the explosive power, the being able to fight for 15 minutes, especially as you get older, right? And I think that's why. And then obviously like physical maturation, right? They're becoming older. They're getting
Yep.
like their man strength, man muscles in a way. So I think that's definitely something. I think when you look at guys that are in the UFC and already established, they know the technique. Um, and it becomes being more of an athlete, being more explosive, being able to, keep that technique for the 15 minutes.
Yeah. There was a guy I was just looking up, trying to fucking remember his first name. Marinovich is his last name. I think he trained BJ Penn. I could be wrong on that, but if my memory serves me right, it was Marinovich, may have been somebody else, but I'm pretty sure it was him, said that like you really can't, to your point, improve skill at the level that like if you can go into a fight, you already know how to fight at that level.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
already know how to fight. But do you have the best cardio? Do you have the most explosive? And that is where if you train for 10 weeks, like get yourself to a place where you are the best conditioned athlete.
Yeah.
Because if you are, more than likely that's going to be the differentiator because you look at two guys like, yeah, okay, maybe he's got better striking, but he's got better wrestling. But there's watch fights 9 out of 10 times you're looking at it, you're like, oh, this dude's fresh. This guy's not.
Well, and then let's also reverse engineer this, right? You'll have a lot of people that are amateurs that come in and they're just athletes and they win for a while, right? But they were banking on just being an athlete and then they get to the level and they never develop that skill. And then somebody that has that skill and is developing the athletic side kills
Mm-hmm.
them because they have the skill. They
Yeah.
know what they're doing. So I think that's something to kind of keep in mind too, right? It's a science to this, right? And
Yeah.
and, and it works different for everybody. And I think for my wrestling, it was the same thing. I think like I wrestled my whole life. I had this skill, I had this technique, but I was like a late bloomer. And when I got to college and started to lift, I became like an explosive person. Like I had like a really fast low single and like I became like fast twitched.
Mm-hmm.
Where when I would wrestle in high school, like I was good at the same move, but it was different. And then once I got to college and started lifting, doing explosive movements and doing all this stuff,
Yeah.
it was a different thing.
I think that's a valuable part of the D1 wrestling that you had was not just like the level of wrestling and the fact that you wrestled for 4 years. You know what I mean? Like that's obviously in and of itself an important thing. But being at the Division 1 level, you had the resources, you had the facilities, you had the focus where that then became like, if you want to be a Division 1 wrestler, you've got to be in the weight room lifting. And we've got a program and we've got great resources and a lot of money behind that other guys just never had that. They had to do it on their own.
Yeah, you're a pro. I mean, especially nowadays with NIL, you're literally a pro
Yeah.
athlete. So you're you get more years of being a professional athlete, right? I think
Yeah.
that's why when I was an amateur, like I just lived the same way I did when I was in college wrestling. So I kind of propelled through my amateur career.
Yeah. You weren't doing what a lot of other amateurs were doing.
Yeah, like I'm not, yeah. I had lived in such a focused mindset and I understood, how to compete at a high level, how to do stuff on the big stage, but most importantly, what to do day in and day out.
Yeah.
And then I took that and propelled it into this career. And then I'm going to continue to do it. The stuff I learned when I was 18, I still use.
Yeah.
I'm actually for this camp, I want to kind of like get back to the roots in a sense. And I want to drive down to WVU, get a couple practices in with those guys, get my wrestling up and just like be in that environment that like, because you can't do it as much in MMA,
Mm-hmm.
try to kill each other and trying to like actually take each other out and, trying to win every go, because you'll, get CTE. But that's something like that environment,
Yeah.
right? Where you're trying to win every sprint, you're trying to do like that. I'm gonna drive down to WVU a couple times and be around that. People like Ty, people like Peyton,
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Titus, like these guys that are really they're high level competitors, and they're doing it in a different avenue. And then being around, Flynn and all those guys that have made champions.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that just helps with your own mindset too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's exciting. Um, we always tend to wrap with the 247 fight cards.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. The 26th.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pull up the card. I'm gonna be commentating on that one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be my second time doing an entire event. When Ethan Goss is busy, which works out really well because they stagger us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I commentate, which is fun. I love it. I got a lot of positive feedback that I was naturally good at it, which was sick because, growing up as a kid, I thought I was gonna be commentating football games. So, yeah, now I'm here commentating fist
Just a
fighting.
regular Joe Buck.
Yeah. Now I'm over here commentating fist fighting.
There's some
Start
good
yeah,
ones.
start on the bottom of the card, I believe. I like also take it serious. Like I usually message the guys anything in particular
There's a lot
you
of
want. I
fights.
also know a lot of these people, so I don't have to do it as much.
So you got Brandon Cherry and Caleb Leedy.
Yeah, those like for example, I don't know either of them. We're gonna
Yeah.
message them.
Brandon Cherry, he's got to get a win. He's 0-2. And it's Caleb's first fight. 0-0.
It's a good match.
Yep, 160 pound,
Catch weight.
3-2s. Then Sam Malloy and Jack Ledo
Uh,
or
Jack Leto
Ledo.
is the
Yeah.
brother of James Leto.
Okay.
Jack wrestled. I don't know if he still does. But he wrestled at Ohio University.
Okay.
In Athens, D1 wrestler. Tough dude. His brother's big, really good MMA prospect. He used to train here. He now trains at Southside Boxing. But he's an active Division 1 wrestler. He wrestled at Pitt while he was at Stout, and now he's at Lock Haven and trains at
Okay.
Southside. Yeah,
Yeah. 1-0. Sam
yeah,
Malloy's first fight.
yeah. Jack,
155 pound weight.
Jack's tough. I'm gonna pick the D1 wrestler in that one for sure. But we'll see, man. Anybody that's game enough to fight somebody with those credentials probably has some kind of secret.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck. Um, Another 0-0 versus 0-0. So debut fights for Sean Livingston
It's our guy.
and Maxwell Snyder.
I don't know Max again. Reach out to him.
Yeah.
Sean was I believe Steubenville high school wrestler. He's on teams with some pretty talented wrestlers.
Looks like an athlete.
He trains with us. He's definitely an
I don't
athlete.
know him.
Definitely has that explosiveness. Quiet dude, super good dude. He's got a family. Just kind of shows up, works hard, and bounces.
He looks like he must be a big 170.
Oh, he's big. He's a big guy. Big guy. I can't believe he's 170. I didn't know that.
Yeah, 170. Yeah, I was like looking, I mean, just as a Tapology
That's
photo, I'm
wild.
like, bro's got a thick neck.
Yeah, that's wild. I didn't know he was 170.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
TJ Sloan,
Hell yeah.
Kyle Geisinger.
Dude. So, that's a great fight.
And
And
hold
with
on, before I still can't fucking figure out how he makes 155 pounds.
TJ,
He
he
is
doesn't cut that much weight.
he's
He's lean
so
as fuck.
fucking
He's so
dude,
lean.
his frame,
Dude, he lives like a
he
professional.
makes me I feel like he dwarfs me. And I got on the scale yesterday. I was a little embarrassed. I'm almost 190 right now. I'm like 187.
Some people just hold stuff
He
different. He's got
is
skinny legs
just
too, so he doesn't hold a lot of
yeah,
weight in his legs. But he's also cut. Like he takes
yeah,
things serious.
he was shredded.
Dude, his debut performance, I know he wasn't super like proud of it, but I think it was perfect for him, right? Going all 3 rounds in your debut is ideal. Um, and
Good point.
leading up to the debut, I was like, he sent me the dude he's fighting, right? Kyle Geisinger fought him. And I was like, well, this is perfect because this guy fights just like you, right? So Kyle and TJ have very similar styles. They both switch their stances a little bit. They have really good striking. They're long. They're probably, I think they're both 6'2" or 6'3" at 155, which is insane. Um, and then Kyle had his next fight. He fought Malcolm Harris. He was doing well on his feet, and then he got tapped out and put to sleep in like a very weird submission that was kind of like it was like Von Flutie type thing. I was on the broadcast and I didn't know that he was even in danger. And I'm pretty aware of submissions. And he went out and I was like, what happened? But I think that fight's gonna be really good. Kyle seems like a kid he's game to fight anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He called TJ out, asked to fight TJ, and TJ, like we had already had that planned. Like that was the next fight in our head anyway, and that dude called him out, so it worked out perfect.
That'll be an exciting one.
I can't wait.
Are you cornering or no?
No,
You're
I'll be on the
commentating. Yeah,
commentary.
you're
I
commentating.
wouldn't be able to corner anyway. Mike and Will.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the only Amy's only get
Too.
two.
Tyler Diebert and James
Tyler Dibert.
or Dibert. Yeah.
He fights out of Gorilla House with
Mm-hmm.
Ethan Goss.
Yep.
He's undefeated and dude's super talented. Ethan talks very, very highly of him, and I trust Ethan. He's been around the game for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's gonna be a tough one for both of them, right? And this is a perfect step up in competition for both of them. In my opinion, it should probably be like a title fight. Um,
3-0 versus 4-1.
yeah, I think James might be coming off a loss after a long layoff. I believe he fought last summer because
Okay.
he fights in between wrestling. I don't know Tyler super well. He's fought on a lot of cards I've been on, um, being why I haven't watched him. But I know James super well. James is a winner. He goes by Las Vegas Lido because he's willing to throw the kitchen sink at all times. Um, he's one of the funnest people to watch fight. I remember he fought uh some dude out of India, I forget his name, and it was probably the best fight in 247 history. They dropped each other like 3 times,
Oh wow.
back and forth, just a brawl. It novice AME fight, but very high level. And James has been fighting. Me and James debuted on the same card in 2022 in July, and he's a super tough dude. Um, he's actually one of the reasons I ended up coming to Stout, kind of like
Oh
propelled me
wow.
into coming because he was at Stout at the time and just he said a lot of like good things. He wrestled at Pitt, made a lot of sense, and he's a tough dude, man. I cannot wait to watch that one. That one's probably it's definitely the best amateur fight on that card. But it's might be competitively like the best fight possibly. It's definitely the sneaky pick fight of the night.
Bigger boys. 185.
Yeah.
And then after that, Tim Bailey and Tarek Smith.
So Tim is fighting. I believe Tarek pulled out.
Did he?
Yeah, I think there was an injury or something. So they're looking for another opponent for Tim. Tim has looked amazing, so I really hope he gets a fight. It's the best he's ever looked. His confidence is insane. He's finally making 125, which we've been trying to convince him of for a couple years now. He's shredded, and anybody that's willing to step up to fight him, and I don't think it'll be super hard. He has a sneaky record, but he's also fought some very, very, very good people. So I think he'll get a fight, hopefully, and you know, I'm excited to watch Tim perform. He looks amazing.
And then there is two more amateur. I would imagine that's the intermission. And then,
Sometimes not perfectly set up,
yeah,
but yeah,
Ethan Pappas and Jaden Wise.
I don't know those guys.
0-0. So that might even,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
those will probably be at
yeah.
the bottom. Like those people, I'll probably
It's the
message them.
145. Well,
Okay.
it says main card, but yeah, maybe to your point, maybe
Yeah.
Tapology's fucked up. I can't imagine
Sometimes Tapology,
O
it's
and
not
O versus O
exact.
and O.
It's not exact. The battle order will be different.
Yeah, and then you got Drew Landefeld and Kassirian Spence.
I don't know Kassirian. I'm gonna struggle saying that name the whole night.
Kassirian.
Sick name though.
It is a
Probably
name.
call him Spence. But Landefeld, I mean, we know that kid can scrap. He's a scrapper. Like that's who he is. He's good everywhere. I'm excited to watch him at all times. I think pro's next for him. I thought he was gonna go pro after he beat Max. Actually, he fought again after he beat Max, and then I thought he was gonna go pro after that.
He fights a lot.
Super active, dude loves to fight. And he always brings it.
Hmm.
So him and Kassirian. Um, I don't know much about Kassirian. Do you know what gym he's out of?
Let's see here. It says he's from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
He fights out of SKN Muay Thai.
Oh, they're around. I don't know much about them,
Yeah.
but um, I've heard of them. But I would imagine Drew will be able to kind of take different approaches, right? He can
Hmm.
strike and he can grapple. So we'll see. I'm excited, dude. Drew's
Yeah, they don't have
super
either of their
talented.
record on here, which is odd. Um,
Drew's got to be like 6-3, maybe.
yeah, I think he's got close to 10 fights.
Yeah.
Bronco Busick,
Jesus.
Dale Reed Jr. Dale Reed Jr.
Dale Reed.
looks like a big boy.
Yeah,
He looks like a
Bronco,
real
dude.
big boy.
I talked to First off, Broncos might be one of my favorite humans in the world. That dude's just awesome. He shows up, shaved his beard, looks like a completely different
I
person.
saw him on Ish's
I was like, "What are
podcast.
you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?" And then he'll come in on the Saturdays. I'm teaching the kids striking class, and he'll just come help out because he's there for sparring, and he just like likes being around them. And dude, he's such a cool dude, but he's also just like game. And I'm like, Bronco, why are you fighting at 215, bro? But he doesn't give a shit, right? And he's I don't know much about Daryl Reed, but I gotta be unbiased while I'm on the broadcast, but this is my podcast. I can say whatever I want. Got Bronco by knockout. That dude hits hard as hell, and he is a just menace
Where's Dale Reed from?
when he's in the cage. Dale Reed, something like a NASCAR driver.
Dale Reed.
Dale Reed. God damn.
Big boy.
He looks like TJ's uncle. Doesn't he look like TJ?
Yeah. Dynamite, Dale Reed. SBY.
Name like Dynamite. Oh shit.
Yeah, right.
They're gonna be banging it
Last
out.
his last weigh-in, 256.
They're fighting at 215, I think.
Or is it a catch weight?
I think it's a catch weight at
Okay. And this
215.
dude, I don't know how Dale Reed has, yeah, I don't know how Dale Reed's going to make 215, but God bless him.
He'll figure it out. Good luck. Good luck on your
Get
weight
some
cut, Dale.
Commonwealth nutrition in you, buddy.
Good luck on your weight cut, Dale.
Yes.
He gets an extra pound. 216.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is 215. Damn.
And then after that,
Nico and Brett.
dang it, Nico's on the card too. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. Oh
Nico
my
fights Brett
God, what a
Stonefeld.
good card. Oh man. I don't know, Brett. Nico's last performance, he got out grappled a lot.
Yeah, that was a really
It was a weird fight, man.
weird fight.
Um,
And the dude that he fought, he gave Kyle a little run for his money for Strange. Certainly not the performance value, but did you see him like throw up some weird fucking like he moonwalked across the cage and like
I missed all that,
oh
man.
bro
I was in awe of just him overall. He came out with boxing shorts and just
it was strange.
was
It was like a
just came
video game
Khabib.
character.
Yeah, dude, he looked like exactly. He looked like just a
Like somebody that would have been on like some weird made up character on like
yeah, I don't
yeah.
even know how to explain it. I love Nico, dude. He's fun. Just like Bronco, he's a sweetheart outside the cage, and when he gets in there, he's game. He always brings a big crowd from Steubenville. He trains down in North Carolina with my buddy Caleb Ray out at I think Elevate or Elevation MMA out in Raleigh, North Carolina, where me and Luke are supposed to go down there and do a wrestling camp. He's tough, dude. He's long, lanky, uses it pretty well, and has really solid grappling attacks.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I don't know much about the other guy, but Nico's tough.
Yeah, Brett's from Gorilla House.
Is he?
Yeah,
Damn, dude. I
yeah.
don't even know.
9-8 record.
Good fight.
Yeah,
Good fight from both of them.
yeah.
Nico's 2-2,
Hmm.
and that's a big step, right? Fighting somebody with a lot of
A lot of
experience.
fights.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Who's after that?
Justin the General Patton and Chucka Willis.
Dude, I don't know much about Chucka, but I looked at his record. He's got a lot of fights.
14-7.
14-7. That's
American top team.
what main
HD. No,
HD. American top team high definition. I think it's a big step up for Justin. But
Kansas.
Justin's continued to take
Kansas City.
huh. Justin's continued to take steps up, right? I think his biggest, like if you were to point to Justin's turning point when he lost to Kyle Zimick in July of 2022. It flipped the switch. I think his talent was there, but I think that like he was winning that fight and then got caught in that guillotine. I think if that didn't happen, Justin would probably be in a big promotion right now.
Hmm.
But I also think it propelled him into who he is now.
Yeah.
And he's right on the brink of getting to one of these big promotions, and beating a dude that's 14-7 would most likely do it. Um, his last fight, he fought a pretty talented dude. I believe second round, he grappled
Took his
and
back and
took his
tapped him
back.
out.
Yep, got a standing rear naked choke. And Justin's one of those guys that like he just knows how to win,
Hmm.
right? He's a striker, I would say first. He's also a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He's got some pretty good grappling training at Mat Factory. He's just, he's a winner, and he's there to fight. He's not there to do anything specific. He knows how to win. That's what he's going to do. He's going to take it in whatever direction's going to help him win. And, we'll see. We'll see with this guy 14 and 7 out of a good gym. It's a tough test. It's a tough test.
Hmm. And then the main event, 145-pound title fight, Ethan Goss and Brady Huang.
Ethan the Wolverine Goss. Ethan is me and Ethan are like have become like kind of close in the sense of like we just like a lot of mutual respect. We actually have the same management
He
now.
spoke very highly of you
Dude,
when I talked to him at your fight.
I love Ethan. He's a great dude. He carries himself really well outside of the cage, and he's just he's what you want as far as like I mean now he's like the OG, right? He's
Hmm.
the guy, him and Kama, and he just carries himself like how somebody should, right? At that kind of position. He's a good dude to look up to, and he's always down to fight the toughest dudes. This dude particularly is a super, super challenging fight for him because this guy's really good at leg locks, which is like a very like niche thing to be good at in MMA. So Ethan, I know, has kind of spent some time training at I think he went down to 50-50 and trained with Ryan Hall, and our management helped him get down there. And
That's the guy to get with, man.
exactly, right. So he's doing the right stuff to prepare for this
Think about
guy.
where Ryan Hall would have been if he wouldn't have had some of the knee injuries that he had.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude had some. That's I didn't
Yeah.
realize that he was training with him.
Yeah, I think they went down for like a week or two.
That's great.
Um, and dude, I think I don't know. And Ethan's just like Justin. He's right on the cusp.
Yeah.
And I think this might be the fight that I they know this guy. Right? This guy I believe fought in some of the like bigger promotions in terms of like
Yeah. I don't want to. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but he told me like he could have fought on a.
yeah,
There were some circumstances where I give Ethan a tremendous amount of credit to have the conviction to be like,
I'll wait.
I'm not going to take that opportunity. And it wasn't like I don't want that to come across like he wasn't game to fight. Like that dude would fight on a week's notice,
Yeah,
on a couple days notice. But he was trying to make sure like, hey, no, I know what my value is, and I'm willing to
yeah,
put the chips on the table here and go back and win again and really solidify this. But
yeah. And I think he will. I think Ethan's like, he's game. He's doing the right stuff,
mhm.
right? And I think this. was a good opportunity for him to go out and perform in front of his people, hopefully one last time, and then go propel into the bigger and better things.
You know what the most exciting thing about this is? Like, you're moving in a direction, Justin's moving in a direction, Ethan's moving in a direction, but you've got a whole stable full of like TJ Sloan's
Up and comers.
that it's exciting to think in 2 years, three
Who's gonna
years,
be?
which of those guys is going to be the one that are really
Yeah,
the person
James
that's being,
Leto.
yeah, you know,
Yeah, Hootley.
bro,
That
yes,
kid's that kid's special.
yeah, that was fucking impressive.
Yeah, I wasn't on the like Hoot Lee train until that
I get
fight,
it
dude. I
now.
went back and
Yeah,
watched it. I was like, holy shit, dude. I messaged him. I was like, damn, bro, just go pro. You're there.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, man. Uh, I gotta go hit pads of will. Um, but I'm it was a great conversation.
Oh, this was a fun
We
one.
went all the way from Chipotle to Applebee's to 247 and everything
Everything
in
in between.
between. Yeah. But all right, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yep. That was a long one. We were fucking chit chat.